Hello, I'm Ricky R. Levant, author of the book The Declaration, Bible study on the book of Zephaniah. In this video, I'll read the questions from the book. So please get paper and pen or use an electronic device for your answers. I'm going to read the questions, but make sure to pause the video so you can write the answers and, of course, research the Bible as well. Lesson 1, a consuming fire. The main scripture is from Zephaniah chapter 1, verses 1 through 6. Question 1. Who did the Lord use to relay his message and list his family? Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 1. Question 2. Looking at Zephaniah's family line, he came through royalty. It is worth noting that Hezekiah was one of the kings who did what was right in God's eyes and the current king Josiah during Zephaniah's message. It's possible that Zephaniah's heritage helped him be valuable to God when conveying the message presented in this book. You might not have royalty in your line or be blessed with extreme wealth. Nevertheless, there is something about you that is useful for the Lord. List your particular trait, characteristic, or talent and describe how that is useful for God. Question 3. What was the Lord's declaration? Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 2 and 3. Question 4. Zephaniah started his message with a strong message from God. There was no lead up or easing into God's command. What was the benefit for Zephaniah to begin his message with a strong declaration from God to the audience? Question 5. The prophet's choice of referring to God as a means of devastation is common. Read the verses below and explain how various authors in the Bible use a similar description of God. And these scriptures are Deuteronomy chapter 4, verses 23 and 24. Deuteronomy chapter 9, verses 1 through 3. And Hebrews chapter 12, verses 28 through 29. Question 6. In Deuteronomy chapter 4, Moses encouraged the Israelites before they journeyed to the Promised Land. He was clear that his mission stopped before they reached that place, but wanted to assure them that God was there. Even in Deuteronomy chapter 9, the use of a fiery God was positive for the Jews. In the book of Hebrews, God being a consuming fire is reassuring. How can the same metaphor of God be encouraging for the modern day church and believers? Explain why it would be necessary for God to have this attribute for his people. Question 7. Who was God against and what deity were they found worshiping? Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 4. Question 8. Multiple prophets warned Judah and Israel about the dangers of worshiping false gods. The people behaved as though there was an addiction to revering handmade artifacts instead of an all-powerful God. People in the 21st century are appalled at those from the Bible that they could be so bold as to choose Baal or other gods instead of the Lord, who brought their ancestors out of Egypt. Still, is it possible for the modern-day Christian and society behave similarly with the same addiction? Question 9. What were the actions of the people that angered God? Zephaniah chapter 1, verses 5 through 6. Question 10. Paul wrote a letter to the church in Rome warning them against people who were former believers of God but turned against the Almighty. These people were like the ones Zephaniah referred to who worshiped both God and others or changed what they knew was true. After reading the scripture listed below, is it possible for our current leaders to conduct themselves like those during Zephaniah's and Paul's time? Explain if religious and spiritual leaders can change what we think about God to fit their personal beliefs or opinions. Now, scripture text is Romans chapter 1, verses 20 through 22. Well, that was the question part from lesson 1. Listen to the Just a Thought portion as well. And make sure to get a copy for yourself at Amazon.com and your favorite online bookstore retailers. It is available, of course, as an ebook, paperback, and hardcover version. Thank you so much for your support, and be blessed.